So I want to welcome you up to On the Count WBAI. So why don't you say hello to the listeners, introduce yourself, and then talk about your involvement with the movement.
Hi everybody, my name is Eva Martinez, and I am the president and founder of Beyond the Box initiative at Columbia University. And I became involved in, I'm also a criminal justice reform advocate, and I'm a member of the IBFA as well. I became involved in the movement when I started seeing the post of the case, and I started sending it over to a few people and posting it, and then I saw Eric had started trying to contact Jessica and starting the whole, to get us, the community involved, and here we are.
So you were at the meeting.
Yeah.
So well, you were at a couple of meetings. That's how I was able to see you and connect with you, because I was connecting with Camilo, and Camilo was like, hold on, I'm gonna connect you to my cousin. And I was like, all right, so he said he's gonna call you. And then I said, all right, hold up. But then I saw the video, and I'm like, hold up, Layla's sitting right there. Let me just text Layla. And then I text Layla, so now I'm going back and forth with Camilo. I got your number on my phone, and then Layla, and then you just happened to say, all right, let's just go on a conference call. But I remember Camilo, I was going back and forth with Camilo too, because he was sitting there as well. So tell me about the meeting. What are your thoughts about the meeting, and then what moving forward? What do we
Tuesday
want?
Meeting, the big one.
The big one.
Well,
but also, more importantly, for our listeners, what do we want them to do?
Like Eric was saying, like Eric was saying, we need people to come out. We need people to come out for our kids, not just Pedro. Right now, our main focus is Pedro, but we have to also realize that there's a lot of other kids who are being impacted by the injustices that these police officers are inflicting on our children. So it's about saving our kids and not letting our kids pay for something that they didn't do. We don't need any more Khalif Browders and Pedro Hernandezes. So we need to put an end to this. So we need y'all to come out, support, rally, show these elected officials, and that we're not gonna let our kids.
Yeah, we definitely got to put more. We definitely got to put as much pressure on DA Darcel as possible. A lot of people don't know this, but she sat in on a few hearings with Khalif Browder.
Three of them.
When she was judge right at the time, she could have dismissed Khalif Browder's case and let him go home while she was the judge. So she has a chance right now to make it right. She messed up on Khalif Browder. She has a chance right now to make it right for Pedro, and hopefully she may want to go into all these other cases that Brady had and Terrell had and Dreyer had, and I mean, it's just her social responsibility to the community. She's an elected official.
And when she's asked about, her presiding over those presiding over the case 3 times, what she said is that she doesn't remember.
She doesn't remember.
Conveniently. Conveniently forgets,
Of course, because it's not her child. They're not her children. I bet you if it was her child that was set up by the police unjustly, an honor student, this is it's so important, man, the narrative. And this is something that we're trying to get, because there's a lot of cognitive dissonance going around, right? Because people are disconnected, and so they don't see that, this is something that's really happens to our children. And so it's really important for us to reach out even to them and say that, no, this is happening. And this is happening on your watch, right? Because you're paying taxes. Right, so these are people that are supposed to be representing you. So you should be mad, you should be angry, and you should be, and it's a righteous anger. But now it needs to be directed. We need support. We need support. We need people to come out.
But it's been happening.
Yeah, and it's been happening.
No,
that's right.
I'm talking about it's been happening for as far as I can remember.
Oh yeah.
Like when I was a child, I remember, I grew up in the 46th precinct, which is just as bad as the 42nd. So I remember they would arrest kids at 13, 14, 15, right? Your moms at that time, most mothers at that time were very cynical, and they would just believe whatever the cops say, right? So these kids were just copping out to cases that a lot of them didn't even do. back then.
Yes.
That's why it's so important to like not forget that Jessica is a true hero here, right? Because
Yeah.
there's so many.
I've been trying to get.
There's so many parents that.
I've been trying to get them on the phone and I can't. I was hoping to get her voice, but we can move forward. So
There's
I
so
know
ma-
she's happy. She's got her boy home.
Yeah.
There's so many parents that.
Well, they had a
They-
great time last night. I think so real quick, Justice League sent them a big platter of food from a nice
Yeah.
Italian restaurant.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
they
hopefully
probably
we'll get her
stayed
on.
up late after all that lasagna.
Yeah, but it's a good thing.
So yeah, so there's so many parents and so many people in general that believe the cops are accusing you of something, you did
Yeah,
something,
did something.
you know, and choose not to. They elect not to believe the kids just because the kids are so used to lying as well, right? Like I have a teenager, he lies to me all the time. I keep telling him, "Yo, stop it." You know, you're supposed to, but you know, it's really important to remember that Jessica stood by him,
Jessica
believed
Perez's
him,
mom.
and that's what we need to do to our kids. We need to support them and believe in them and fight for them always.
So we are in fund drive mode here at WBAI 99.5 FM. So we're trying to raise funds for the station, make sure that we can keep the phones on, keep the electricity on, you know, keep the overwhelming majority of staff at BAI are volunteers. So we all volunteer here to put this thing together. We're on 24/7. We are the resistance. We are the only left on, especially on the FM dial, which is why they want to kick us off the FM dial. We're battling with the Empire State Building, and right now battling with Verizon. But we're going to get through that. We've been here. BAI has been here 60 years. On the count's been here 15 and a half years. But we can't stay here without the support of the people. So yeah, we're calling on people to support the radio station as well with whatever you can. Just real quickly, WBAI Resistance Radio Unisex T-shirt is on there. If you guys want to donate a contribution of $65, you get a nice T-shirt from WBAI, so you can go on the website and check that out. I just want to make sure I mention that. WBAI Resistance Radio Unisex T-shirt. So for a contribution of $65 to the radio station, you will get this WBAI Resistance Unisex T-shirt. For our show, we have a gift. It's breaking down the box, and it's talking about, you know, solitary confinement and what we need to do away with solitary confinement, especially with regards to our children. It's just incredible that we're still using this antiquated, you know, system of punishment where you throw someone in a box and leave them there without any kind of assistance, with no rehabilitation, no education, no vocational, no therapeutic skills, no substance abuse, mental health treatment, nothing. You just throw them in a freaking box and forget about them for 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, depending. You know, and so we need to do away with box. So if you donate to the radio station right now, $50 donation will get you breaking down the box, and I will make sure we get that to you. So call 516-620-3602, 516-620-3602. Layla, what triggered?
So something that is not often discussed in reference to that box is, because there's several boxes, but
Oh, yeah.
the box is that when people go to prison and they discuss, we're often given a questionnaire, and one of the questions is, have you ever, do you have mental health issues? Have you ever attempted to take away your life?
Yeah.
And if you answer affirmative, you are put in the box.
Yeah. No, and then it's also used against our LGBTQ and gender nonconforming people, especially transgender. They just send them straight to the box, supposedly for their own protection.
Exactly, for your own
So,
protection, to make sure that, you know,
incredible.
suicide watch.
And this is torture.
So
This is
if it's
torture.
someone who already has mental health issues and you
Yeah.
causing them more trauma, that
Yeah.
kind of makes no sense.
Which
to
is
me.
one of the things when we're talking about Pedro's case, and for him to have to be
I was with Pedro last night, actually.
So
Yeah.
tell me
Yeah.
about that. But what I wanted to talk about was when someone like Pedro, who is innocent, man, and gets targeted by the police officers that you think are supposed to be there to protect you, and you go through this. I mean, the psychology behind how you can be innocent, man, and just be thrown through this system and this abuse, the trauma that comes with that, man. I just hope that he gets, you know, support and understands.
But I think with Black and Latinos, I don't think I don't think we ever was raised to believe that the police was there to protect us anyway.
Sadly.
Well, one of the first fears, if you follow the teachings of Elijah Muhammad and you listen to Minister Farrakhan speak, one of the first fears of a child, especially a Black and Hispanic child, is the first time they see a white person in a suit, a police suit, is a natural fear or threat. And you start studying genetic dispositions of our people and how genetics going down 400 years, we fear these people.
Yeah.
And this is why, like, a lot of our kids, when they get jammed up legally, they're so desperate to get out that they take any plea given to them. Pedro was given, they told him, you want to go to college, take this probation with a sealed felony. Not him not knowing, you know, the average kid would have took it. Oh, I get a sealed felony. He not knowing that all the sealed felony means is if you ever catch another case, you'll be charged as a first-time felon. But for the rest of your life, employers, that felony's going to be used against you somehow.
Yeah, felonies are forever, that's for sure. And that's the overwhelming majority of people on Rikers Island. What is it, 89% are innocent? It's between I think it's like 89% of those are innocent.
Because they're there for...
They're there facing charges. And so now if we're talking about if they happen to be there based on the work by these officers from the 42nd Precinct, then we know that there's a large majority of them who are there innocently. And so, but then they get coerced and they get scared into copping out. And because over 95% of the cases end up in plea bargains, they wind up upstate.
Well, why do they end up in plea bargains? Because we also have a jury system that is 98% conviction proof. Like they're...
And because we're poor and we can't afford representation.
Exactly. Well, let me because there's research that demonstrates that the majority of the people that are incarcerated were poor before even.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we, instead of having a war on poverty, which we should have, what we have is just a war on drugs.
A prime example is Pedro's case. Like I keep saying, there's so many layers to this case, right? So let's go backtrack a little bit with Pedro's case. Pedro was assigned a lawyer because they couldn't afford one. He didn't get a legal aid. They got him a lawyer who owns his own practice, David Narain, who is not white. I believe I think he's some Middle Eastern. I've seen him on TV. He's Middle Eastern descent or something like that. He's not white. This lawyer, I mean, he couldn't really do nothing. He couldn't do much. He wasn't from the city. He was from Rockland County. He has no roots in the Bronx at all with the DA. And he was given all type of headaches every time he would submit some type of evidence to free Pedro. And then, let's keep it real. You bring in the Kennedys, now they over there panicking. They want to shake up.
Yeah. Well, that's what it takes. It takes the mobilization of people.
And if we had, my point is,
people
if we had
at a certain level, right?
Yeah, and my point is, if we were afforded great lawyers like the Kennedy firm, most of these cases we would win.
They get dismissed. We'd be able to hold those people accountable, those corrupt. Because that's another problem is that we know the corruption is there, and yet they get over and over and over and over and over. Like nothing happens to them. I mean, I'm glad they took away this guy David Terrell's badge and his gun. You know,
but Daniel Brady's still
active.
Daniel Brady just made a few arrests the other day. Like there's people that are watching this guy.
Yeah.
So he's still out there.
So we need
directing arresting.
So we need people to call their representatives. We need people to call their assemblymen. We need people to call the Bronx DA's office. We need people to call and keep the pressure going. The Bronx DA is it still Darcel Clark, right? So Darcel Clark, the number is 718-590-2000. 718-590-2000. Call, blow up the phone, let them know, drop Pedro's case, and let's do something about holding
the victim.
The
victim
accountable.
Saying he didn't do it.
Yeah.
There's 8 eyewitnesses saying he didn't do it.
Yeah.
The private investigator even showed them who actually did the shooting. They don't even want to look that way.
Yeah.
And what you were touching upon earlier when you said that, language, which is something that we always talk about, right? No one's ever mentioning the fact that Pedro was an honorable student on the honor roll, right?
Well, we mentioned
we mentioned it.
Yeah, no, you did. But I'm saying before that, right? No. But when Brock Turner, this poor kid from an Ivy League school, or an athlete, they didn't put a picture of him with... they put a nice school picture of him in articles and stuff like that.
They don't show handcuffs with mittens on. Yeah, they don't do that because they want to criminalize a certain group, which is our group, and then the others they're like, oh, they're just young people making mistakes.
They made a mistake.
So racism plays a huge role. Racism, classism.
And as a community, we still got to do more.
Yes,
because Pedro, the WPIX story ran in December, I believe, right? November.
Yeah,
that ran in November. The community didn't do nothing. Yeah. And then I myself reached out to several celebrity rappers from our community.
Yeah.
And all of them told me that they didn't want to get involved in the case.
Shame on them.
So shame on them that it took
Yeah.
the Kennedys. Again, we have to resort to outside entities of our community to come in and play this savior role again. And we don't want to keep using that same strategy over and over again. We need our communities more involved. We got to make these hip hop rappers more accountable. They're the ones who perpetrate a lot of this stuff that's going on in our communities.
Yeah,
They're the ones these kids are idolizing.
Yeah.
They're the ones that these kids spend money on.
And they're not showing up.
I have 7 of them who I reached out personally, had conversations through their managers, got on conference calls with them, and they really didn't want to get involved. They're afraid of hip hop police. Like, yo, bro, if we get involved, hip hop police, it's gonna be all over me. Like,
if
I
they
really
only
don't want
knew
to get
that,
involved.
the hip hop police will not be able to stand up against the people united. There's way too many of us, man. There is. It's just the problem is that we're not united. Once you get united into one specific cause, I mean, there's nothing that could stand against that. Nothing could stand against an idea whose time has come. And the time is now. So we have next steps while we're winding down. Let's talk about the rally.
The rally, August 10th, 11 a.m., 2 p.m. We're working on visuals now that everyone can bring to the to the rally. Obviously, we're trying to prevent another Khalif Browder. So if you want to use pictures of Khalif Browder, that's fine. Pedro Hernandez are also fine. That weekend is Mike Brown's weekend. Is the anniversary of Mike Brown's death. So, if you want to come out with Mike Brown, I know I'm probably going to wear something for Mike Brown that day. And then we have several cities across the nation that weekend that's going to incorporate the Pedro Hernandez story into their Mike Brown rallies. Because I know that Ferguson is putting something together. Atlanta, Chicago, D.C., LA, a lot of major cities is doing something for Mike Brown, and they're definitely are coordinating with us so they can incorporate the Pedro Hernandez story in their rallies.
Yeah, we need all hands on deck.
Something that I want to mention is that when you guys call your representatives, I need you to also include what the Orange Buffoon said yesterday, because he actually, he's promoting this. He's encouraging law enforcement to violate the human rights of people who are in custody. What if the person is in it? Even if the person is guilty, you're still violating the person's human rights.
Yeah. Well, you know
he was promoting. No, but it's not. It's like we need to
1% are the only ones who
continue.
really enjoy some of those freedoms.
But we need to continue putting pressure, and this is another form of pressure, because look at what happened to Pedro. I'm not sure if it was mentioned before I came in. He lost his sight.
I told him the whole story.
So
40% is eyesight.
So the rally, who are we calling on? What are we telling our people to do for the rally?
We like I said, we're demanding D.A. Clark to dismiss Pedro's case.
Yeah.
We're gonna be talking about bail reforms. We have to do away with bail, especially for minority people, poor people. It's just unjust. Like, we just saw something a couple months ago, right? The guy who sat on our island didn't even know his bail was $1 and stuff like that. Like, it should have been. They just released. Sean King just posted something to someone who sat in the county jail for 11 years waiting for trial. For them to just dismiss the case without even a trial. The DA was like, you know what? I'm just going to dismiss the case.
So we want Pedro's case dismissed. All right. Also, for a few minutes, what I'd like you guys to do is do some pitching for us for the radio station. So why do you think it's important for us to have on the count here on WBAI? Supreme?
Well, I definitely, I think, the box. I'm a person who, I did about 7.5 years in solitary confinement straight. So I was in, they had me in Unit 14 in Clinton. Then I went to the Snake Pit in Attica, and then they put me in Southport for about 4 years. So, and most of that time, I had no one to communicate with. It was just being on my, especially Unit 14, you're not even allowed to speak to anybody in there. I had no access to anyone but the CO who fed me 3 times a day. Wow. So, I'm definitely with that. I think you guys should have bring that more to the limelight.
So our station, on the count, the Prison and Criminal Justice Report, manned by formerly incarcerated people, the importance of having this kind of show on the air. Later.
So the importance of having this, something I didn't mention when I introduced myself is that I'm also formerly incarcerated. And it was amazing to have you guys come in and actually talk about things that were impacting us. And so it's really important for the people who are incarcerated to hear our voices and to hear that and to know that we're out here fighting for them. So yeah, come on guys, help,
And
donate.
before we close out, I want to say some thank yous too.
516-620-3602. 516-620-3602. So make sure that all of your people know to call in and donate anything. The box, the gift that we're giving for a $50 donation is called Breaking Down the Box, but you can give whatever you can. Any little bit. Like Eddie Ellis used to say, none is too small until there's none at all. So if you give a $5 donation, a $10 donation, believe me, it's going to go a long way. We get 10 of you to give $10, that's $100. So we, anything. Yes, $25 gets you the WBAI where you become a member. $25 makes you a member, so that's that. For $50, we'll get you Breaking Down the Box. Just make sure when you call in, you ask for Breaking Down the Box DVD, and I'm going to get that to you. So the number is 516-620-3602. So now we have about a minute, and so what I'd like to do is let's plug in the event one more time, and then let's plug in how people get in touch with you. So let's start with Layla. How do people get in contact with you and the work you're doing?
To get in contact with me, I'm mostly working on banning the box from student applications, and